Saunders. On this episode of Treasure Expeditions, I stop in to antique shop The Barn and speak to vendor Gloria Nussbaum, whose antiques and collectibles are located in the back of the barn. Shoppers are out and about at antique store The Barn in the historic downtown district of Castle Rock, Colorado. I spoke to barn vendor Gloria Nussbaum about the items she carries.
Everything I have is decor. Everything is, and a lot of seasonal. I do sell new things that are seasonal, and that does help with the rent because a lot of the seasonal stuff is very popular and will sell. And I try to get things that you're not going to see everywhere, like the gourds that are made in Pennsylvania. Those are grown and handmade. They're not from China. They're American. So the price is a little bit higher than what the Chinese stuff is, but there's a lot of people who like that and look for that. So, they don't want to just go to the big box store and find, certain things. They want something to be a little more special.
Gloria talks about how she acquires items.
A lot of them come to me. A lot of people come to me and they ask if I would be interested in buying things from their family, things that their children don't want, which is a sad kind of thing these days. A lot of children who are now in their 20s are not interested in their family treasures. And so the parents are stuck with china they don't use, crystal they don't use, silver they don't use. But it's really sad that the kids don't appreciate it. I mean, the kids are all about, saving the planet and recycling. Well, buying antiques is one of the best ways to recycle things instead of just dumping them in the garbage.
Gloria says she's been antiquing for several decades.
I have a shop and I resell the antiques. It's not as lucrative as it used to be, but there still are plenty of people that appreciate the things from the olden days and will look for things.
Gloria says antiquers can look for similar pricing online, but must factor in the condition of the item and what people are willing to pay for the antique.
I don't look online for antiques. I'll look to see what's there and what's selling. I might find something that I'm not sure of the value, so I'll look online and see what the value is, as far as what's the price going today. But that still doesn't mean that's what it's going to be, because you've got to consider the condition of the item and your clientele, what they are willing to spend for things. So it gives me some information, but it's not real clear what an antique should be priced at just because it's online.
Gloria talks about the environment at the barn.
Well, the barn is one big happy family. And we help each other, and we look when we go shopping. All of us go shopping, and we look for things that we know other vendors are looking for as well. So each of us have our own little niche, so to speak. And so if somebody finds golden books, they know that that's what I sell, and so they'll buy them, or they'll call me and ask me, "Do you want some?" I'll consider the price and the condition, and then a lot of times they'll help me pick.
Gloria talks about antique dishes.
Sometimes there's a particular antique that has a great following. And one of them is the Flow Blue dishes, which are mostly from England, from starting around 1820 to about the early 1920s, maybe. That era, a lot of blue and white china was very popular, because that's the time when China, the country of China, was opened up to the world, and they had a lot of oriental looking dishes. They were very, very good in what they did. So the Europeans copied it and made thousands of them, thousands.
Gloria talks about the varying value.
Yeah, the ones that are in really good condition, the ones that are really old and in really good condition, still command a pretty high price. But the price is not as high as it used to be. And the blue willow pattern, this is a blue willow plate right back there, that's been going on for centuries.
Gloria says she started in the antique business because of a life event.
I think in my situation, it all started when my grandfather died. And my mom and I went into his house. A lot of things were already taken by the other 7 brothers and sisters, you know. But my mom said, "Is there anything here that you would like from Grandpa?" And I wanted the canister set. The blue and white windmills. That's what I told her I wanted. So I was probably about 14 at the time. When I got engaged and I was having a bridal shower, my mom gave me the canister set. And I said, I will always have that canister set in my kitchen. And so I was always going to have a kitchen that featured blue and white china. So then I started going to antique shops looking for other pieces that would complement it. And lo and behold, I found what I was looking for. And I haven't stopped collecting since.
Gloria talks about antiquing outside of Colorado.
I've gone to New Mexico a number of times, looking for antiques. And every region has their own little thing, that you can find, like Santos in New Mexico, the statues, and figurines like of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So I found things there that you don't find as much here. And then I go up to Chicago to visit my daughter. That's one big antique shop after another. And a lot of antique shops are not the best place to find things because they're pricing their items like I price. And I can't buy from them and resell it, But I can buy stuff for myself, which has happened on occasion, yeah. So we have an empty van and we fill it up.
Gloria talks about antique firefighting equipment.
They'd break it open and then that would trigger a signal to the fire department, like a telephone signal. So they would know what number box was on that, on that street, and they would come to it.
Gloria talks about military antiques.
I don't specialize in that. The only military antiques that I've ever come across were ammunition boxes. They were green, and they were stenciled with, it said Army or it said ammunition on it. And there was, several guys that came into the shop and were very, very interested in purchasing that kind of antique. So military definitely has a value to it. And again, you can go online, you can advertise it, online, and I'm sure it'll sell.
Gloria says there's another antique item men might enjoy.
I have a lot of guys who like antique Christmas ornaments. I have a collection over there. I've sold many of them this year already. But I have several gentlemen that bought several of them. And they're not inexpensive. They can go for $100 a piece.
Gloria talks about the items that may bring in $100.
They're like figures, like snowmen or Santas, or they have baby carriages and they have little automobiles, and all of these are from like the early 1900s. They're mostly German, and they're very popular then, and the price now is amazing because they're so fragile that not many have survived.
Gloria talks about the items that may bring in $100.
Most of them are German. There's not really a name for them, but they're very interesting how they're made. And there's a lot of information online about antique ornaments and what they each represent. Because you'll find all these unusual clowns and babies and well, of course, angels and snowmen and Santas, are big. But the Santas are not like the Santa that you see in the Coca-Cola commercials. The Santas are more somber, more St. Nicholas-like in the old ornaments.
Gloria discusses preserving and displaying antiques.
Well, it depends on how the kind of condition and how rugged they are. Like I've got boxes and I've got barrels and things that are very, very well made and are very rugged. So you don't have to be too careful with them. But like the ornaments would be like at the top of the list of fragile. And they're very collectible, but people have to be very careful with them. But teddy bears, all kinds of dishes and books. Most people that buy old books know how to take care of them and keep them from getting wet or being in a humid area so that they'll last.
Gloria talks about the importance of items made in the past.
I just really want that the younger generation would really be very interested in the past and things that no longer can be made anymore. Some of the things that were made are cost prohibitive. Now you could never make them again. The furniture is so well made. I would ask the young people to look into antique furniture for their own homes, because things that are made in China, things that are sold at IKEA and other furniture places do not have the quality. It's not possible to make it that way anymore. So I would just hope that the younger people would get more interested in it, especially in their family antiques. Things that were used by grandparents and aunts and uncles.
Antiques and collectibles can remind us of the importance of history. Remember, the greatest treasures are the memories made along the way. For Treasure Expeditions, I'm Terry Saunders.